The following broadcast is brought to you by AmpProbe. We're live all across the United States. You can see on the screen right here, I have the little map. We're listening on HST radio. Even the moderator made it. I didn't even tell him about it because it's spur of the moment. Moderator, you're the man. Okay. We're listening from Wisconsin all the way down to Florida. We can see it on the screen here. We're listening all the way from Kansas all the way to the great state of New York. Looks like New York City. Let's check it out. The funny thing about this, you guys can see this. Check it out. We're going to zoom in. We can see exactly where you people are. It's like Big Brother's watching you. Somebody's listening from Manhattan. Is that Manhattan? Somebody's in Manhattan? Sweet, man. All right. Somebody's listening up there in the great state of New York, in the city of New York. All right. Nice. What's up, Mark? What's up, AJ Engineering? What's up, Justin Henning? Hope you guys are having a good day at work, no matter where you're at. I'm going to blow this map back out for those of you who are watching on YouTube so you can see when our viewers pop up for the radio station. Most guys are listening on HST radio because that's where it's at, man. It's all audio. You can put it down while you're working. You can listen to the sweet sounds. If you have any questions, here's what you're doing. Somebody is listening from across the pond. I didn't see that. Let's check that out real quick. Let's go across the pond. I don't see anybody across the pond. Where are we at? Maybe it's just not showing up. We have people watching. Ralph's watching. Ralph's already threatened to call in, but I told him if he calls in, I'm really going to give him the business. I'm going to give him the business, guys. The business. Isn't that nice and ambiguous? People are like, what the hell does that even mean? I'm going to give you business. Isn't that good? I don't know. Oh, there's Chuck. Chuck's our New Yorker right there, man. Maybe. Unless he's listening on both. So here's what we're going to start with. Guys, I cannot be more irritated and dismayed that once again I was shunned from the 40 under 40 list. I'm going to tell you this. I've said this twice. People are like, stop whining and bitching, Zach. I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to retaliate. Like anyone who gets jilted, the jilted bride, I'm going to lash back at the people that jilted me, even though it might be justified. It's probably justified. So here's what I'm going to say. Here it is, right here. I'm going to create the ultimate HVAC tech list. Zach's top 5 techs for HVAC on the Earth. Wait a second. In the solar system. If there's anybody on any different planets that want to apply, they can. But I'll be choosing people from Earth until notified differently. So if you want to make the top 5 greatest techs on Earth, we'll have to set up a criteria, and you guys can do it. All right, there you go. So that's out there. I'm putting that out there, guys. So you could be one of those guys. I'm not going to go up for that. I just want to be in control of everything. I want to control the whole process. That's what I'm getting at here. Control freak. Am I being clear here? Control. Okay. Our buddy Monica. Our buddy Monica. I saw her on Facebook earlier saying her company hired the very first female technician. The very first female technician. I'm not going to nominate John Israel. Ralph, you stop it, Ralph. You stop it. He's a Christian. Leave him alone. He's a Christian. Okay. Don't turn on him. Okay. Some friend you are. Monica, they hired the very first female tech. The very first female tech. So they're going to have to get a nice big inverter with an extra car battery to power all of her curling irons and hair straighteners and a Vito makeup bag. Now, even though that's a total joke, I'm sure she's probably better than the guys. And everyone knows that every Vito bag is basically a purse, whether you're a man, woman, or whatever. Vito bags are purses. They're Chinese purses, too. They're not even made in America, for the love of God. They're Chinese purses. We all know that. So no one can make fun of accessories and stuff like that. We're going to move straight on into the HVAC news. I have my HVAC news music. I'm going to play it right now, and we're going to get into the news. You're listening to the HVAC Action News with your host, Zach Ciota. All the news you want, and a lot of it you don't care for. Wonder how long this song lasts. I think I faded it out. There it goes. I'm Zach Ciota, and this is the news. Section 301 tariffs. What'd I just say? That's what we're talking about today. Section 301 tariffs. So we all talked about how Trump's going to put some, He's going to stick it to other countries and give them the what for. America's the best, and we're going to show them by taxing the shit out of everything they want to send us. That's what we're going to do. So Section 301 tariffs, $16 billion taxed on Chinese imports to our country. So, of course, China was like, okay, we get it. We'll leave you alone now, right? Incorrect. China's like, okay, suckers. Well, we're going to do the same thing to your stuff going out. Of course, this is a fun game that rich people play that screws all of us. It's called a trade war. We've had them before. Trade war. The higher ups like to, bat around our incomes and have fun with us like a dog playing with a tennis ball. The funny thing is, on this second round of tariffs, this comes from AHRI, these tariffs include heat exchangers, motors, components, and controls. So all those broad ocean motors that they're chucking across the ocean that are failing immediately, they might cost a little bit more, which would be a good thing we can check on. In fact, hey, Ralphie, when you call in, you can tell us whether they're going to raise Bosch's prices. Because Bosch, I don't know if you guys know, but Bosch is not made in the United States. I know this is a shocker. It's made in China. Like it or hate it, it's made in China. Okay. My idea. It wasn't my idea. That's what I'm saying. We have Brent Ridley in the YouTube chat. Awesome. That's a good one, Mark. That'd be great. Ralph hired John Israel to finish the Bosch installation at his house. That's awesome. Ralph can confirm that if he wants to call in here in a second. Let's get to the news first, and then we'll get into any call-ins that we want to have. And I have our top 5 list of places to work in the United States for HVAC. So let me get through this here. So they included heat exchangers, motors, components, and controls coming from China. And there's a place called the USTR, United States Trade Representative. They're set to discuss a third round of tariffs that's $200 billion. And AHRI is like, okay, we don't want to be part of this. We're sick of this back and forth because in the end, I don't think you're really going to win out too much because China's a pretty powerful country too. And they're just going to tax the stuff going in here and cause, the idea is that you might cause a recession or something like that, end up shooting yourself in the foot. I don't know if that's going to happen, but that's what I think about as a lower blue collar person, that these people don't really think about us. I had a talk the other day with one of my buddies. We were talking about government. We don't really trust anybody in government because they're all just a bunch of rich folks who don't care anything about the lower class. They all say they do, but that's crap, in my opinion. Call me a Tea Party guy. I don't know. I'm not actually in the Tea Party. I wasn't there. It was a long time ago. So AHRI says they don't want to be any part of this third round. They said, don't involve our stuff in this at all. And this tax rate's 10%, but they might push it to 25%. And China said they're going to retaliate with $60 billion in their own sanctions against our trade stuff. So it could get pretty nasty here. Talk about $200 billion. Imagine if you had just half of that. It'd be great. You know what I'm saying? We have some talk over here. Brent says, what up, homie? What up, Brent? Brent didn't see any rocks under the condenser, so it couldn't be an Israel install. All right, Brent. That's pretty funny. Welcome, Pedro. Pedro Cervantes, China, and Brent sticks his middle finger up at China. Hey, man, if you don't want to buy Chinese products, what are you going to buy? There's nothing out there now. You want to buy something made in the United States, still a bunch of Chinese parts they crammed together in some barn in New Mexico. So, it's still from across the pond. All right, here we go. Emerson's top list of HVAC. Let me say that one more time. Emerson's list of top HVACR states for jobs. Okay, you guys out there in the chat, put the states you think are the top states to work in. I'll give you about 30 seconds to do so. If you want to text in, you can do that as well. 910-970-0774. You can text in. Let me know what you think. The top states for jobs. I'm going to go from number 5 down to number 1. Zach is the man. I have to agree. Zach is the man. We have one guest for Florida. Nice American-made iPhone. Ralph, that's the Bosch talking, Ralph. That's the Bosch talking. I'd rather buy American products than Chinese any day. We have California. We have Georgia. Ralph's just naming the state that he's in, I think. Keep going. Keep going. You can text or you can go on YouTube. Either way is fine. We can do both of these every day. That's fine by me. It's a great idea. Our moderator had that idea. It's not a bad idea. So if you want to sit down and watch a YouTube video, you can. But if you want to just listen because you can't watch a video, that's fine too. And use less bandwidth. Alexander says Texas. Let's see, Arizona, Missouri, Texas, Georgia, California. We have Maryland from Nick Rowan. it's good to see who's watching where, because you can tell by which way they answer these questions. We have text, North Dakota. I like that, Alexander. North Dakota. I'm going to tell you, North Dakota is not on the list, but I like how you pick like the farthest state from you. What about Alaska? A lot of air conditioning calls in Alaska. Las Vegas is a city, so I'm going to go with Nevada. Union areas, so that's just like anywhere there's a union. Texas, Northeast Alabama. Okay, number 5 is Florida. Number 5. You could probably guess that. Florida, number 5. Federico Ramos says Texas. No question. A lot of people said Texas. Guess what is number 4? It is Texas. The great state of Texas, the Lone Star Republic, is number 4. So you're right. Now we have 3 left. Jose says Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. is not on the list. Neither is North Dakota. I'll go ahead and tell you, Montana's not on the list. Montana didn't make it. Maine didn't make it. Okay? Maine didn't make it. Idaho? Sorry, Idaho's not on the list unless you want potatoes. Is that Idaho where the potatoes come from? I think so. Jersey, nope. Number 5. We're asking. Number 5 was Florida. Number 4 is Texas. Number 3 is Illinois. Illinois is number 3. So we have 2 left here, guys. I love the guessing game. You guys who are listening to this as a podcast later can guess along with me. Just yell at your radio. I can still hear you. I'm still monitoring you. Okay? That's my Liam Neeson voice. I have you in my sights. Okay. We have Tennessee. Georgia's number 1. Pennsylvania. Georgia's not number 1. Ralph is just saying that. Number 2 is California. California. Okay, number 1 is not what you would suspect. So I'm going to give you guys a second. You've heard Florida, Texas, Illinois, California, and number 1 is not what you would suspect. What do you think it is? I'll give you another hint. It's in the northern, it's almost in the northeast. It touches one of the Great Lakes. It's not New York. No. It's not Arizona. Not Hawaii. What's a good guess? Hawaii. You would think so, right? It's not Hawaii. Alaska. No, that's ridiculous, Brent. That's Tool Pros podcast logic for you. Alaska. Come on, guys. I'm going to give you 10 seconds. Wait a second. Brent and Tony got it. It's Ohio is the number 1 state, and that's because Bergman's there. Bergman's bringing so much stuff to that state that they're number 1. Isn't that sweet? That's awesome. Okay. I look at my papers here. We have people listening. Let's take a look at where people are listening today. Let's go take a look up into Wisconsin. Those of you following on YouTube, those of you on the radio, I'll let you know. Looks like we have 1 listener in the Milwaukee area. Very nice. Let's zoom out. We'll go over. It looks like we have 1 in the Kansas area, and they're using the brand new Android app, which is pretty sweet. Down in Dallas, I have a feeling that might be Clint listening in Dallas. And let's see. Do we have Ralph still on the air? Well, that could be Ralph. If you listen to the iOS app, that could be Ralph right there. So I don't know. Chicago. Could be Chicago. Alex says he has to call in. Well, Ralph says he has to call in too. There's a lot of people that have to call in. I'd love it if somebody new called in. Would be nice. And in fact, I'm going to put the number in the chat over here on YouTube. Oh, we had a message retracted. I wonder if it was nasty. Was it a nasty message? Moderator, was it nasty? Okay, there's a number there. You can call in right now, 910-970-0774 if you want to talk. That was the news. Oh, I should play the news again. Hold on, here we go. No, I don't need to do that again. Yeah, just waste time. Let's not do it. So we got, hey, Heavy Diesel's there. Brexit land. Yeah, the whole Brexit. That's a problem we don't have. That's a problem from across the pond over there. I wonder if they can listen to this on the radio. That would be a good question. Okay, Brandon Benny has just texted me, and if you listened last week, you heard us talk about a vacuum hose that collapsed during a vacuum, and he just texted me and said it was an Imperial hose. Imperial hose. All right, here we go. All right, we have a call. La, da, 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 da. I wasn't just not going to say anything and see how long it took for you to go, who's there?
Just waiting on you.
Okay, well, you're on the air right now, Ralph. What's up, man? You got some great information to tell us?
It's amazing I'm on the air.
It is. Why is it so amazing you're on the air?
I don't know.
Hey, man, what do you think about that John Israel stuff? I'm just
actually, you know
kidding.
what?
I'm just kidding. Stop. Stop.
Actually, no.
Stop. No.
Let me say, because Brent said he didn't see any rocks under the pad, right?
I mentioned that on the air. Okay, we got that. What?
Yeah. Okay. So, but while I was doing the video, I was like, if this pad isn't level, I'll just put some rocks under it, meaning gravel, right?
Yeah, I heard you said gravel.
I had to edit it out. I had to actually go back and do another shot and say gravel instead of rocks, because I knew what people would be thinking.
Yeah. Well, since when do you care about any of that stuff?
Oh, I don't know.
You have literally never cared about it. In fact, I think you go out of your way to do it.
No, I don't want to talk about him.
No,
he's not the religious guy like he claims to be, but that's enough.
Is this because I said you're talking about Christians?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what do you want to talk about that's not related to that, which is fine, because I just wanted to.
You know what? I want to talk about the Field Piece probes and the Measure Quick app. I am so glad those things can be combined together.
Did you see my meme I made?
Yeah, I did. Jim Bergman saved us all.
That's right. Well, Measure Quick. But yeah, Jim Bergman saved their ass. Do you believe that's true?
No, but I don't think it's true. But I mean, he did help the situation. I mean, I think it's a great combination, actually.
I think it's a great combination too. I kind of regret not having any to tinker around with now.
Yeah, I'm actually going to here in just a little bit do an efficiency test on that old unit, because I've been waiting for it to get, warm outside.
Right.
And now it's around 90, so I can kind of give a good comparison of the two units.
Okay, why don't you tell everybody what it is you're comparing and why you're using Measure Quick today?
So I have an 18-year-old Linux. What's in my video, if you hadn't watched?
Well, some people might not know even who you are, so you need to tell them, like, yeah, right.
Oh, no,
yeah, sure.
Man.
Yeah, some of these people might not know who this is.
So you guys that don't know, I have a YouTube channel and called TNN Services. And last night I put a video up where I'm installing a Bosch. Right? Is that correct so far?
I mean, you tell me, man. I mean, you're putting up a video about a Bosch, yes.
Yeah. So, but before I finish installing the Bosch, I want to do an efficiency test on the 18-year-old Linux to see what it's running. And then when I do the Bosch, I'm going to do a test on it to see where it stands.
Oh, well, cool. What are you expecting to find? Okay, because it's like a scientific experiment, right? So you're going to tell us what you expect, and you're going to compare it with what you actually find. So what do you expect?
Well, it all depends. I mean, if I'm running, at 30 hertz, the SEER rating is going to be way up there in the close to 40 SEER. You know what I mean? Because I've seen that report.
Right.
Jeremy, you saw it. I sent it to you.
I should have brought it up on the screen. Darn it. Yeah, that would have been good.
The only thing he did different, and I told him he needs to go back and redo it on a warmer day, because it was 69 outside and 70 inside. Actually, he just sent me a text. Says going to run that test tonight.
Okay, all right.
As we were talking about it, he just texted me. He said, "Going to run my test this evening. It's 95 here."
Well, I look forward to this. When's this whole thing going to be over so we can know what happened?
Oh, on mine?
Yeah.
I don't know. As soon as I get off my rear end to do it. I told you that my system's in a crawl, and the floor of my crawl is unlevel, so I have to figure out a way that to mount the coil. I know I'm going to hang it, but I want to get in there and do it to where when I crawl in, the unit strut's not hitting me. You know what I mean?
Right. And you're using a Bosch coil, right?
Yeah, I'm using a Bosch coil.
Okay. They have slab coils and everything, or they just have A coils at this point?
No, they just have A coils, multi-position.
So you have a horizontal A coil too?
Yep.
All right. Okay, cool. Well.
Yeah, I think that same coil is just multi-position. So.
Well, let me ask you this, Rob. Is the reason why it's not done yet because you've been out of the field for so long, your body's falling apart, you don't want to go out there?
No, my body's not falling apart. Actually, I think I'm going to have to practice my brazing skills It's been a year since I picked up a torch.
And you can't zoom lock it because the stub's lumpy.
Yeah, hey, yeah. Well, you couldn't see it in the video, but maybe you could. But it's really bumpy for whatever reason. That copper.
Wait, hold on a
I don't
second.
know.
Hold on a second, Ralph. Hold on a second. Here we go. Hold on. Do you have a lumpy stub? Try Flexus. Flexus for men. It'll get rid of your lumpy stub in 3 applications. Just apply it vigorously. All right, there you go. Go ahead.
Yeah.
That is great. Brent says the coil is shaped like a Chinese star.
Yeah, Brent. Meanwhile he's texting on a or leaving a comment on a Chinese iPhone.
Do you have to be communist to use Bosch?
No. No. There's plenty of guys out there that love that thing.
I know. There is a lot of people out there. In fact, Tim was in the chat earlier, and he uses it.
Yeah.
I know. Sorry.
Yeah. Nobody complains about them. You know what I mean? Everybody that puts them in really does like them.
Yep. The only negative thing I've ever seen about Bosch is there was some video about one being broken, but I don't even know if it was that negative or what. I didn't watch it. It's like a no heat on a Bosch.
I actually went yesterday and I had to pull a board out of one because we had one that burned up or whatever.
Right.
And we didn't have one in stock, so I went down and pulled a board out of one. And then when I was installing the new board yesterday, I noticed that their heat paste from the board to the heat sink was on there pretty thick. So I have a feeling they're putting the heat paste on a little thick from the factory. So that could be one of the reasons that board was burnt up.
Is that something that you're going to communicate with the guys at the factory?
Yeah,
I told one
of the tech guys that works for Bosch. I told him because the reason we have heat paste is to not for air to go in between the heat sink and the actual board, right? So you've got to put a thin layer so they can bond together. But if you put too much on there, then it insulates the board from the heat sink. So it just needs to be a really, really thin layer just to keep air from, filling any gap and just keep air from in between the two.
All right, well, let me ask you a question on behalf of our dozen listeners. We have Jeff Kuiper. By the way, did Jeff Kuiper get up with you?
No.
Okay, well, Jeff Kuiper's trying to get up with you. So He asked, his major concern is parts availability. Now, at your Ferguson, how many Bosch parts are there? Is it like a lot of Bosch parts? Do you have to order stuff typically? How does it work?
No, we just, we do have boards in stock. The boards aren't cheap. I'd rather not say what they cost on air.
No,
but the boards aren't
cheap. Say it now.
No.
Say it.
No. So the boards aren't cheap, and the supplier has to pay for them, of course. So that's maybe one reason people don't keep parts, but we definitely keep a board for each one. You know what I mean? Okay.
So I'm going to give you an example, and you tell me. If you have a bad condenser fan motor on a 3-ton Bosch, do you have it in stock? Do you think?
Well, we'll have to order it, yeah.
Okay. Because they're different.
But now, wait a second. On a 3-ton Bosch, you can actually put an aftermarket motor in there because that thing is a PSC motor.
Okay. So it's the 5-ton has a DC motor?
Yeah. The 5-ton has a ECM motor on it.
They said
which is not a DC motor, Zach.
It's not a DC. Oh, is it I got you. Okay.
It's a 3-phase motor, and that the board is actually built into the motor. So just like the compressor.
Oh, I got you. The board's built into the motor. What, like these ICP broad ocean deals with the boards in the blower?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Just like every variable speed motor, the actual board is actually in the. You can't see it because the shell doesn't come apart, right? It's just a white molded plastic shell, and the board is actually inside there.
Well, I would like a motor to break open and look at.
I tried breaking one open yesterday, and one from a Mitsubishi actually. I tried to break it open yesterday, and I took it out of the parking lot, and I was slamming it on the ground, and it just shattered the whole shell, and then so the whole inside of the thing, I had to throw it away.
Wait a second. So how similar is a Bosch 5-ton condenser fan motor to a Mitsubishi fan motor?
They're almost the same. I mean, yeah, they're almost the same. It's the same technology.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Now
It's shaped the same, actually.
it does
So
what?
it's the same technology. It's the same technology inside that thing.
So does Mitsubishi have boards inside all those motors too?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. See, I'm
Any-
learning something right here.
Yeah. Any X13 motor, variable speed motor, they all have that. They basically have the same board inside that motor as the board on the outside of the unit.
I gotcha. You know what I was thinking about? I was thinking about how they separate some of the boards from the motors themselves on like an outdoor unit. Like they'll have the module mounted in like the controls area, then it'll run the rest of the wiring to the actual motor.
Yeah, because the power gets sent into the fan motor from the board, and then inside the motor, it goes through its board, and it does what it has to do.
Oh, I'm gonna tell you something, right? I just thought about this. Your phone sounds so much better this time than it did last time. Were you on Bluetooth last time?
No, I'm just I'm talking to you on my speakerphone.
Oh, well, this sounds so much better. Next time, do it this way. Because last time there was like
Okay.
some muffle parts or something.
Hmm.
All right, here's some questions from the chat, though. You want to answer these since you're here?
I'll try.
Okay. Well, first one's for me. It says, where's Jackson System Ciota? He's up at the house with his mother right now. I'm going to go visit him in a minute. The next question is, so are these motors interchangeable with each other?
They could be, but I wouldn't do it because of RPMs and yeah, I wouldn't do it. It's not labeled on there what it actually is.
Is the Bosch one 2-speed or is it variable speed where it'll run at all different RPMs?
The 2 stages, I mean, not the 2 stages, but the 2 and 3 is a 2-stage.
PSC.
2-speed. Yeah.
Okay. But the other one's full variable speed, so it'll go all over the place?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, cool. That's all the... Wait a second. Brent's got a question. Good question, Brent.
All
Is
right.
the Bosch made in a sweatshop?
I don't know.
He seems pretty jilted about the Bosch.
I know,
did a
but yeah,
Bosch
he's
dump
commenting.
him at prom or something? I don't know what happened here.
No, but you know what? Brent's going to come up here when I get this thing installed. He's going to come up here and check it out.
Really?
Yeah.
So y'all have set the date, then he's going to come up there and he's going to be won over by your Bosch.
Yeah, he's going to come up here and check it all out. We've talked about it already. So I got a question for the chat. How many of you techs out there use adjustable wrenches?
Oh, is this going to be about the homosexual wrench operation thing?
The dude didn't call me a homosexual. He just said real techs don't use adjustable wrenches.
Oh,
I was
that's
like,
right.
okay.
That was added. Okay.
That
Real
was,
text.
you said that.
I don't know what you're talking about. Adjustable wrenches, they're bad, right? That was the whole idea. They're bad.
Yeah, he said real techs don't use adjustable wrenches.
I had an Irwin adjustable wrench for a long time, and then just some Harbor Freight ones. I always used them. Why not? Because they slip
I
a
know,
little
I
bit
don't-
sometimes, maybe.
I don't know. I guess he carried around a whole set of wrenches in his tool bag, and I got that comment, and then I got another comment where I used AC Renew because of a TXV problem, and the guy told me that AC Renew didn't have anything to do with the working of the TXV. It was just an oil additive. I was like, okay. So that's why I don't put a whole lot of,
Isn't he right, though?
It's an oil additive, but remember when we had all the TXV problems?
Well, remember Pastorello said that it would just
I know what
increase
he
the
said.
full volume of the oil. So it's like an oil thing, almost.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know if that makes
Exactly.
them right or not, but it sounds like it's somewhere in between there.
Well, it's supposed to be like a cleaner or whatever. So, no, I remember what John said.
Well, the guys, speaking of John, Heavy Diesel's in the chat. He says he has a full set from 4-inch to 12-inch adjustables. So he seems like he's a pretty good tech. So I'm gonna take that as they're fine.
I know. I think I think Heavy Diesel, his name's John. I think he's a real tech too.
Yeah. In fact, I always thought he was like one of the better techs I ever saw on YouTube. I thought he was just a real
I know. I always thought the same thing. So
a lot of guys are using adjustable wrenches. Kuiper used adjustable wrench. Jacob Mullis says it must be fake techs. It's only fake techs that are doing this. You know how the fake techs go on Facebook and say they don't do something and they're real high and mighty about it, and you just need to tell them to shut up and go away.
Yeah, it was like Brent Ridley's employee there that was talking about the transformer.
Brent just said he only uses metric crescent wrenches.
I use those funny left-handed ones.
I'll use left-handed screwdrivers, brah.
Yeah, there you go. So anyway, I just thought it was, you know, that's why I don't put a whole lot of thought into what people say on Facebook, you know, or YouTube, the comments they make.
Well, don't even worry about it. Heavy Diesel says, thanks for the kind words. I tell you what, man, I can tell you're a good tech. You look at these other jackoffs on YouTube, you know a good tech when you see one. That's a good tech.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. You know, people see people on YouTube and they're like, oh man, that guy is great. But, you know, there's only there's a handful of good techs, and I'm, you know, I don't, now that there's more techs on YouTube, but before there was only just a handful of good techs on YouTube, and John was definitely in there, you know.
You know, he's from England, right?
I do.
Well, you know what? I think we have an American version of John. Do you know who that is? Can you take a guess?
No. Tell me.
Come on. The American version of John is NorCal.
Oh, yeah.
It's so, because they're both so smart. They have all this different stuff they work on. I'm always in awe because I worked on certain equipment like over and over again, but they have all sorts of different stuff, except for the dairy stuff. I don't think NorCal does dairy stuff like he did.
He would if he had to, but I'm with you. All I ever worked on was air conditioners. I didn't get into all these other oven warmers, and my hat's off to all you refrigeration guys, you know, that work on all this different stuff.
And I forgot they call them engineers. I see that up there. It says Heavy Diesel is a top engineer, because that's what Big Refrigeration called everybody, refrigeration engineers. Makes it sound better than technician to me.
Yeah. See, over here in America, the reason they call us service techs or whatever, it puts us in a lower class. But over there, you know, they're engineers.
Yeah. Did you take off your speakerphone?
No, it's still
okay.
Still there.
It got muffled for a second. I'm like, man, come on. Jacob Mullis says homeowner alert. That's what they say in those groups. It's like AK. He said he was watching AK's video. Homeowner alert. Let's talk about what kind of boots we wear. What's the best kind of boots? Oh, I say, who gives a shit? Who cares what kind of boots we wear? Just wear whatever you want. Wear flip-flops to work. Don't say it. I know you're going to say something. Don't even say it. I already know you're going to say it. Where's the Crocs? Where's the Crocs, man?
There's some steel-toed ones out there now.
That was ridiculous.
That was fun.
Steel-toed Crocs. Are you kidding me?
What a Croc.
Everybody's saying Crocs in the chat now. I knew it was going to start. Actually, I never said flip-flops. I knew what was going to happen. Oh, gosh, yeah. Alexander, you might have to call in on the next show because I'm about to wrap this one up because it's been 35 minutes now.
Man, sorry.
Hey, that's all right, man. You asked if you could call in, and what'd I say? Sure.
You said you was going to catch me off guard.
I know I was going to catch you off guard with that John Israel stuff, but you really didn't care.
Nah. You know, I don't care what that boy does in his personal life.
Don't do it, Ralph. I'm just kidding with you, man. It's all right. It's all right. It's cool, man. Worry about the boss.
No.
Worry about the boss.
I am. I'm worried about the boss. I gotta get it done. Before I know it, it's gonna be cold outside, and it's still gonna be sitting in the same place it's been sitting in.
You don't want that, man. You don't want that. Have you been doing the calls today?
Yeah, I've done a couple. Actually, I got an email from a guy that works at Ferguson. He's a technical support guy in Utah. He sent me an email through my Ferguson work email. Said, hey, I just saw one of your videos. If this is the same guy, welcome aboard. So I was like, hey, that's pretty cool. So I called him up.
That is pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Try to zoom in on one of our listeners. Oh, there he is. We have a listener in Dallas. That's going to be Clint. And we have a listener in Arlington, Texas. Very nice.
Wow.
Where's Colleen? That's where Ralph's from, everybody. He's from
It
Killeen.
is south of, if you go south of Dallas, south of Waco. See Waco? Follow I-35 down.
I got to follow to I-35. All right, I'm going down. I got Waco here. I'm traveling down to Temple. Am I still going?
Yep. Now make a head west from Temple.
I got it.
Highway 190.
Look at Killeen, man. I see you right here. Here's Ralph's little town of Killeen, everybody. Where they talk like this.
Actually, if anybody's from around that area, I'll be there November 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and I'll be leaving on the 5th.
Wait a second. It says Hood Army Field. Is Fort Hood in Killeen?
Yeah, it's right next door.
Oh, that's where my dad was. So he's been to Killeen.
Really?
Yeah, he was at Fort Hood.
Oh, it's changed now.
Well, this was like 1960 something.
Yeah, even before I was there.
Yeah, before you were on Earth.
Exactly. I was a gleam in somebody's eye at one point.
Yeah, you were. Yeah, you were. Hey, what's up, Isaiah in the chat on YouTube? What's up, man? Brent,
Hey,
Jeff, Jacob.
Speaking of Isaiah, did you send him that wet rag?
Yes, I did. It probably hasn't got there yet, though.
Oh,
He has no idea it's coming. Surprise, Isaiah! You're getting some wet rag.
Did you put a note in there for me?
No, but we don't need one now because he's right here. You can tell him what you want to tell him now. Go ahead.
Oh, hey, I just wanted to, I won the wet rag, but I didn't really need it. So Jack said, well, you want to send to somebody? And I said, well, send it to Isaiah. So there you go.
Here's the music. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. You're a big. There you go. I'm not playing that whole thing because it takes too long.
See, he didn't even know he won it.
Now he knows. Hey, we have a question from Ivan Lipovic. I love that name. Why did Ralph quit working in the field? I think you've probably answered that one several times. Do a really fast version of your answer to that.
Well, basically, I was working my tail end off. Neither one of my kids wanted anything to do with the business. And I was so tired of working 16-hour days all the time that I just really wanted to get out of it. And without the kids wanting anything to do with it, there was just no real purpose for me to continue in the field, basically.
There you go, guys. Ralph left the field. It wasn't because he was old and decrepit. Come on.
No, all my moving parts still work. So,
hey, great.
I decided I would get out. My knees didn't hurt me. My back didn't hurt me. So.
Yeah, man. Hey, I'm down with it. Did you know that today, or actually yesterday, officially Town and Country Air was dissolved?
Oh, really?
Yep, it's officially gone now because we did a final filing for the taxes.
Oh, cool.
It's all over now, baby. But the
All
Cowboys of
over now.
HVAC LLC lives on. I'm going to change that to Cowboy Media or something like that, I think. You know what?
You can
Something
do what
different.
you want.
I know. I'm just saying. I might change it up a little bit because it just reminds me of the podcast that doesn't exist any longer. Need to change it up a little bit.
Yeah. Hey, whatever you need to do.
There you go. Let's read some comments here. Ralph went to work for John Israel. That's correct. Ralph's kids just don't want anything to do with him. That's correct. They're probably running away from him as we speak.
Yep.
So is Ralph running TNN services a little on the side? Appears not, right, Ralph?
Negative.
Okay.
Why do you think it's taking me so long to put this stupid boss in? Because I really don't want to do it.
But you got to now because they gave you one.
Yeah, but I don't mind. Once it's done, I'll be glad it's done. But I'm like, dude, if I wanted to keep turning wrenches, I would have stayed in the field. Nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean?
Adjustable wrenches.
Adjustable wrenches. There you go. Hey, leaving the field was the best thing I ever did, actually.
Hey, man, you got your time. You served your time. A lot of the guys in there, this was a big subject last year when this first started happening, how you you're no longer in the field. What are you, you big loser? But you know what? You serve your time. You move on to something else. It's normal. It's the way life goes.
Hey, you know what was nice, Zach? I'm going to Texas for a high school reunion, actually. And I went on our company website, and I submitted my days for my vacation time. And you know what? I got an email back from my boss and said I approved your time off within like 3 minutes.
3 minutes? That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Man, oh man. That's nice,
And I
Ralph.
don't have to work. I know.
Okay, Ralph. Here, we'll do a final question for Ralph. Ralph, what are the
Yep.
odds you're going back into the field? Good, not good, or hell no?
Hell no.
All right. There you go, guys. That's Ralph Wolf. He's not going back in the field. There will be a Bosch video coming up. He's already released one. There'll be multiple parts coming up over the next, I'm going to take maybe a couple weeks or so, something like that. That sound right?
Yeah. And actually, I'm going to continue it because I'm going to do all kind of different things with it. Like I'm going to take the PSC motor out and I'm going to put that Azure motor in. And then when it gets cold outside, then I'll do some tests on it, to show what it's doing in heat and all kind of crazy stuff. So it's kind of exciting, actually.
Well, there you go. Got the Azure motor too. We just talked about the Azure motor. And I want to say something, the guys on YouTube that are listening right now, I did not realize that many of you could actually listen on YouTube around 2 or 3 o'clock p.m. I figured it would be a really small number, but I'll do this every day on the radio and YouTube simultaneously, so you can watch on either one. So report back here tomorrow, the next day, 2 to 3 o'clock. And remember, if you want to be notified, text me 910-970-0774, and I will notify you like 30 minutes in advance. Ralph, we look forward to your next video, and I thank you for calling in, but I'm going to wrap this sucker up now.
All right. Yeah, I was just getting ready to say, if you guys are interested in the Bosch, keep an eye out on my channel. If you hadn't subscribed, go ahead and do it. You know what I mean?
There you go.
And but anyway, thanks for having me, Zach. And with that, I bid you farewell and adieu.